Okay, what is up, chat and YouTube? Today I'm going to be playing Mutant Chuggy, because I haven't played this deck in ages, and Coach said play some Mutant Chuggy. So yeah, is it good? I think no. I'll be honest with you, I think Mutant Chuggy has never been... I don't want to say it's never been a top tier deck, because I think that's unfair. Like, I think it was often considered to be a top tier deck. But I always felt it was like one of the worst of the top tier decks. I never felt like this was the best deck in the game. I have actually never ever considered Mutant Chuggy to be the best deck in the game. It's always just been like a solid choice. I think it's easy to play was a huge part of why Mutant Chuggy was so popular. It's like an easy deck to be successful with, but it was never actually like a best deck. Gary says it was a top tier deck last patch. Gary didn't play last patch, so he literally uninstalled the game for the last patch, so I'm going to disregard what he has to say. I don't think it was a top tier deck last patch, and I played a lot in the last patch, so I think my opinion is probably more accurate than Gary's on this one. The last patch, the best deck was like Chuggy Inferno, which dumpstered this deck. So, really not convinced that Mutant Chuggy was one of the best decks last patch. I'm not even sure what Mutant Chuggy is great against. It's just a deck that is decent versus everything, but not actually good. And that's generally been my experience. This always played Oksana, but I think in this current metagame there's a lot of... If you're not playing as 2-range, you're playing as tanks. So I'm going to be playing Kayn. Although now that I think about it, there is a lot of Razorback as well, and Oksana Stealth Tank is my best out to Razorback. So I might change my mind while we're playing. We'll see. I'll start out with Kayn. If I can't beat Razorbacks, I might put in Oksana. I don't think Oksana really helps you that much against the Razorback. The issue is, you need 100 cost Stealth Tank, then you boost it, which means you're at 90. Sorry, 130. You're at 130 to kill a 60 cost unit. So even if you kill it, you've spent 70 more than they did, and if your Stealth Tank dies, you're fully dead. Like, that's it. You're actually screwed. If you kill 2 Razorbacks with 2 boosts, you're still down 40 Tib. If you kill 3 Razorbacks with 3 boosts and the same Stealth Tank, you're down 10. That's the issue, right? Like, that's insane. If you have 1 Stealth Tank, you keep it alive the entire game, you kill 3 Razorbacks with it, but you use a boost each time you kill the Razorback, you're still down 10 Tiberium on the exchange. That's kind of the problem. Like, Stealth Tank is too expensive now for what it does. When Stealth Tank originally came out, like, you know, when the game came out, because Stealth Tank's been around the whole time, 100 cost was pretty reasonable, because we all remember how absurd Stealth Tank was, right? Like, the Stealth Tank Fnatic meta. Stealth Tank was clearly insanely strong. Like, it was one-shotting Pitbulls and Rhinos and Buggies and Bikes, and you could put it with Fnatics, and you could get 2 of them, and then one-shot tanks. That was incredibly strong. These days, it doesn't do that anymore, so it's overpriced, right? Like, 100 is clearly too much for what Stealth Tank now does. Stealth Tank is an anti-air unit. I think Stealth Tank is basically what Slingshot should be. Like, I think Stealth Tank is actually a very well-designed example of a tier 2 anti-air vehicle. I think Stealth Tank is a fantastic design for that. But it's overpriced now for what it does, because that's all it does. Like, it is literally that is its role now. It is not an anti-vehicle unit anymore. Its anti-vehicle prowess is massively reduced, so it is definitely overpriced for what it does at this point. So I think Stealth Tank should get a cost reduction, personally. Anyway, I should probably focus on this game, because I'm having a bad time. One of the issues, of course, with Stealth Tank is, like, it is this tier 2 anti-air, and it's not very good against Orca and Shade. That's kind of awkward. That's an awkward spot to be in when you're like a dedicated anti-air unit. That's basically its role now, as a dedicated anti-air unit. And there's like a few air units that really it struggles with. That's super awkward. It's a bad place to be. I'm happy to trade off the Bike Squadron as long as I get the Orca. Alright, cool. That's fine then. Oh wow, holy crap, that's a early Iron Cannon. That's way too expensive, man. You spent all your money on that. I actually can't believe he could afford that. That's insane. Maybe I have a lot more. I have quite a lot of money in the bank. Maybe it's not as unreasonable as at first I thought. It just seemed early, but I guess actually this is a pretty slow first missile. What do I do against these drone swarms? I think the lasers are fine. I think we just keep making laser. If I transition into vehicles, I just have a situation where I struggle with Orca. I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to keep using the lasers. Laser Chuggy, a classic combo. Basically, it's just the worst Missile Razorback now. It's funny, because obviously, like, Missile Razorback was worse. Laser Chuggy was the better version for ages. And now we switched and was swapped around. Now Razorback is better than Chuggy. Hello, sir? Wow, bro. That's a man who really wanted to kill my Chuggy. That's exactly the same thing that would happen with... If you imagine that matchup, what would happen there, except the Razorback... the Chuggy's a Razorback and the Orca is like a stealth tank. That's like the same thing that happens. Like, that's the problem, right? You try and kill the Raider unit and it just rotates through the missiles and lasers and you can't get at it. That's why these Raider units are so strong. Yeah, I mean the combo of laser plus Raider anti-infantry is not going out of style anytime soon, that's for sure. Can you shoot please, laser? Thank you. Alright, now we win because that laser shot. I thought for a second he just was never gonna fire. Alright, there we go. First matchup under our belt. Didn't even make mutants, just played Laser Chuggy.
You are victorious. 3, 2, 1.
Is Orca 70 comparably? What, to the stealth tank? Orca is, I mean, Orca, like, yeah. If Stank 70 becomes OPAF, I don't know if that's true. Maybe it would. Like, at 70, it's kind of like an Orca that can shoot up. So yeah, maybe. Because, like, Orca also costs 70, but Orca does a lot more ground damage, but yeah. I agree that at 70, it might be too strong. Maybe 70, like, maybe we go to, like, 90 to start out with, or 80. Maybe just like a 10 cost reduction and then go from there, you know? That seems okay. That seems like a fine way to do things. I'm going to transition into War Factory, not necessarily because it's actually the correct play here, because I think it's probably not great to switch against the Barracks War Factory start that my opponent has, just because I find the initial battling quite tedious. It's like it's one of my least favorite parts of the game actually, is the initial fighting. He has tank, which is really bad for me. Tank is the, like, best counter to Chuggy. The fact that we got our lasers onto that pad is absolutely massive. Absolutely massive. We should just get the missile here. Yeah, alright, cool. Tell you what, people are going to be pretty surprised to see me playing Mutant Chuggy, because this is not a deck that I'm known for playing. This looks like a bad matchup, because Tank is the best thing against Mutant. Sorry, against Chuggy, obviously not against Mutant. That's a very stupid thing to say. Tank is the best thing against Chuggy, but rifles actually don't kill mutants quickly enough. Like, Tank Flamer kind of dumps on Mutant Chuggy, but rifles, they don't have enough power. They don't kill the mutant quickly enough, which makes the matchup actually, like, a lot closer than it would be if it was Flamer. Flamers can actually put the hurt on your mutants. Rifles kind of, you can see, they just don't cut it. And he's playing a rifle wheel deck, so he's actually pretty weak to this heavy infantry. And you can see that in the way the game is playing out. Like, he's clearly very weak to the heavy infantry. I also just have this random obelisk, so, you know, if I needed any help, I have an obelisk. Which I do not, because the matchup is pretty good for me. Yeah, without the heavy anti-infantry, it's just really tough for him to kill the mutants. It's such a big difference. Flamer Tank actually just beats this deck super hard. Rifle Tank really struggles with it. Each mutant has 620 hit points. Rifles do 110 damage per second at full squad. Wow, good stats there from Jeffrey. So it takes almost 6 seconds to kill a single mutant with a full rifle squad. So it takes like 18 seconds to kill an entire squad. 18 seconds is forever in Rivals. 18 seconds, like a game of Rivals lasts for what, a minute and 38 seconds? That's the quickest a game of Rivals can be. Average game of Rivals, probably about 2 minutes, maybe a little longer. So if you're spending 20 seconds of that to kill a single mutant squad, That's like 1/6 of the entire length of the game to kill a mutant squad. That's too long. That's way too long. Obviously, rifles are good for like chip damage on a mutant. You can't just leave your mutant and ignore rifles on them, but yeah, it's not an answer. Ah, I see we are both Chuggy connoisseurs. Now, normally I would make bikes here, but I've learned from many, many times of playing against Chuggy that actually mutant just fucking dumpsters the mirror match. If you have a Chuggy mirror match, the person who makes the most mutants wins always. So I'm just going to make a mutant. And then my opponent can't win. And as we see... Oh, hello. Ah, misclicks. Savage misclicks there. Oh, he killed everything? No, he kept one unit. I mean, I should have been able to save at least one unit there. That was a huge misplay. Huge error on my part. What did I lose? I lost a mutant, a Chuggy, and a laser. That's expensive, man. That's like... That's a lot. Now this is a time when Stealth Tank shines. When you get to play against heavy, expensive air is when Stealth Tank is at its absolute best. Because it just one-shots them. And that's what makes Stealth Tank good. The problem is that these units are not very popular. Like, Catship is basically unheard of at the moment. Oh, hello. He has Mutant as well. What the hell is happening? What is my opponent playing? So many misclicks today. So yeah, like Mohawk. Mohawk is a great example of when Stealth Tank is fantastic. Mohawk, Catship, these are things that Stealth Tank is insane versus. You can't really say Inferno and Orca because they trade evenly. So you can't really be insane against a unit that can one-shot you. I need to do this, I think. Okay, why do I have no money? Probably because I built an obelisk. Yeah, that checks out. That does make sense, to be fair. Obelisk should be fine here. Like, we just obelisk his Chuggy and then we win. Yes, sir. Feels good, man. Yeah, there's just not that many units where Stealth Tank is really good against them. It's pretty good against Venoms as well, because they're quite beefy and it one-shots them, but they're so cheap that it's, like, less exciting. Double Half Inferno doesn't really need the, Double Half Inferno doesn't require the finesse of normal Inferno deck, because you don't care about protecting it anymore. Like, it doesn't matter that it's slower when reloading, because you have so much money from Double Half that you just trade it 1-for-1 constantly. Like, that's how that deck functions. So it, like, doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter that it has, it doesn't even matter that it has, slower movement speed when unloaded, because you never move it. Like, you never try and save it. You just, like, yeah, make an Inferno, send it in, kill a thing, it dies, make another Inferno. There's no, like... It's like the least skill requiring deck in the game, I would say. I think it is actually the easiest deck in the game to play. I talked about this in one of my videos a while back in the last metagame. I was saying I'm baffled that people don't do it more. Because it's like so easy and so powerful. It's literally, it's like a better version of Mutant Chuggy. Because it's much more powerful and so much easier to do than Mutant Chuggy. So I was surprised more people didn't do it. Because it's just like the actual most easiest and effective strategy in the game. It's obviously not the best strategy in the game, but in terms of like playing without putting much effort in, it's by far the best thing you can do.
3, 2, 1. New mission received.
Tomo, we're doing pretty well with the Mutant Chuggy so far. I think a lot of people aren't expecting Mutant Chuggy either, although it's not like the metagame is in a position where people don't have answers to heavy infantry, you know? It's not like people are going, oh man, a mutant, I wish I had my Razorback. Everyone has a Razorback. Like, it's very, very common to have answers to the heavier infantry units right now. Because everyone's playing Shock and Flame, that's like super common. So you need heavy anti-infantry. Also, you just have to kill lasers quickly. Like, that's the metagame we're in. You have to kill lasers and missiles in a reasonable time frame. Mutants are pretty good against Buggy and Rhino, but I'd also say on the flip side, they're surprisingly not that good. You'd think mutants would like absolutely dumpster Buggy and Rhino, but they kind of don't. Like if you are forced into a 2v1, it's pretty bad for you. You don't want to fight mutant against 2 Buggies or 2 Rhinos. Actually goes pretty poorly. Nice Pitbull. Pitbull is never going to beat us. There's just no way. Pitbull does not beat Laser Chuggy. If he has shocks as well, it gets a little bit harder, but Rifle Pitbull, there's no chance. Razorback, that one does. Except that he needs to micro it. Oh, no, he's okay. He's okay here. He might be fine. Yeah, it's unclear, to be honest with you. We didn't even leave a cloud. God damn it. That change, man. That change is so brutal. We're gonna lose this missile now. I don't think this obelisk fires in time. Oh, he let me on the pad. What are you doing, Tomo? You had it, mate. It was yours. Literally just threw that missile. That was his for sure. So yeah, as I was saying, like, everybody has Razorback, and Razorback is one of the best things you can possibly do against Mutant Chuggy. Razorback is super good against Mutant Chuggy deck, especially when the Mutant Chuggy deck is playing Stealth Tank still. Stealth Tank's kind of not great against Razorback. Sir. Tomo. Alright, sure. We can't really make the mutants, which I'd like to against the Pitbull, because they're too much of a liability if when the Razorback comes out. And obviously the Razorback will be coming out often. So we need to try and keep our... Oh, hello. That's surprising. That is very surprising. Fortunately, a defensive Stealth Tank is more than adequate to clean up a Borka. Ooh, jumpers. They have to be terrible, right? They have like no hit points. There's no way they can survive against a Chuggy. They actually did surprisingly well. You know, they did a pretty good job there. I don't know why I made an obelisk. Don't ask, chat. Don't even question it. I have no idea why I made an obelisk. The Stealth Tank didn't load in time, so we didn't get to kill the Borka, unfortunately. Oh, I'll tell you what though, if you are having trouble against Borka, that's how you know your deck is bad in the metagame. Or just bad in general. The Borka is an absolutely horrible unit right now. I'm gonna just go over here and trigger his Borka. Let's see if I can kill his jump jets. Nice, he killed his own jump jets. Kill, good man. I really wish I hadn't spewed 110 on a random obelisk that did nothing. That was not good. That was really unfortunate. I think we might be dead to Borka. One insane time to be alive. We're actually going to lose to a Borka. Well, that says more about my deck than anything else possibly could.
Mission failed. 3, 2, 1.
The problem with that metagame was that Nod was so much better than GDI, but now GDI is way better than Nod, so it's just flipped.
Unit ready.
Player F81. Oh, hello, double half. I'm gonna make this mutant that's probably incorrect. I needed to get a Chuggy, that's why I made the boost. I figured the boost would, like, I mean, I was gonna get the Heart either way, but I needed the Chuggy ASAP, so figured I'd boost to kill the Harvester a little sooner. Chuggy just, like, yeah, Chuggy's just so not as good as it used to be. The thing is, a lot of Chuggy's damage comes from the Cloud, and the Cloud delay is massive now. So you, like, don't do good damage for a reasonable amount of time. Like, your damage is okay, but really the Cloud was such a huge part of it. And you don't see a Talon very often. We're going to try and split shot the Talon to get both of them. Yeah, there we go. If you let a Stealth Tank shoot a Talon, it will fire 3 times and it can't kill another Talon. But if you let it, if you time it right, you can shoot twice, keep 2 missiles, and then you can kill 2 Talons with the Stealth Tank.
are victorious. 3, 2, 1. New mission received.
Risky biscuit.
Building online.
Pretty sure he's playing drone swarms.
Unit ready. Unit ready.
I don't know how the +1 works with rifle mirror. I'm pretty sure I can't just fully move in on him when he has defender's advantage. But also, I'll lose by less, by like probably quite a lot less than normal. Actually, looks... No, I think you win with 3 models left in a normal 15 versus 15, and he won with 2 models left. So it's not... Depends how much you consider 1 rifle model. If you end up in a long-term rifle mirror, it matters. But he's tech switched immediately, so it probably doesn't make much difference. Now, Flamer Bike beats Missile Drone, in my opinion. Militant, less clear. I don't mind trading off the bikes to get a volley. I'm generally okay with this, because if you do it twice, then you trade their Orca for a single bike squadron, which is great. Now, in the old days, you'd be able to make this Chuggy kill both the squads really easily, and then go back to your business. I don't know if that's the case anymore, because these are definitely not the old days. Actually, he was able to kill them both pretty easily, but he didn't defend them really. This is the kind of time where you might boost a bike squadron. I didn't think it was necessary there, but that was the... If this was an Orca, for example, I'd lose this missile. So that was a spot where you might boost a bike squadron. But I was reasonably certain. He'd already lost 2 Orcas. I was pretty sure he couldn't afford another Orca. So I didn't think it was necessary. But that was a good example, because I was saying that you'd hardly ever boost bikes. That was a good example of a time when you might boost bikes. I'm pretty sure Laser Chuggy should be able to beat pretty much his whole deck. So I'm just going to continue making that. I'm just going to kill this thing with everyone. It's like level 12, it's kind of sad. The problem is that Chuggy kind of needs to be less reliant on its cloud. I feel like that's the issue. Chuggy needs to be better without its cloud so that you can take away the power of the cloud a little bit. So maybe Chuggy needs a damage increase now, but like the ideal fix would have been to nerf the cloud damage, but then you nerf Chem Troopers as well. And Chem Troopers definitely didn't want to nerf. Maybe nerf cloud damage but increase Chem Trooper damage was a better solution.
3, 2, 1. New objective available.
Risky biscuit again.
Building online. Unit ready. Unit ready.
That must have been very odd timing for my laser to spawn 1 tile up when my militants were actually moving through. It must have been like exactly as the militant were on that, occupying that tile, so that they couldn't spawn there. Because if the unit's moving through, it shouldn't count as occupying. Let's get the Chuggy. As soon as I get some pop cap. Tank, you say? Oh shit, Buggy. Buggy is scary for sure. Get the tank. Well, I can beat the Buggy with laser plus Chuggy. Like with the Chuggy support, the laser should win. Although that tank looks like it's going to beat my laser troop, which is awkward. Alright, we're gonna win this missile for sure. Feels good, man. Banshee is in just such a good spot right now. It feels so weird to have a deck that doesn't have Banshee. Really just kind of feels like every deck should play Banshee. Just gives you such good utility. And it doesn't feel oppressive either, like the unit doesn't feel overpowered. It's kind of annoying when people Banshee spam. That sometimes happens, it's a little bit annoying, but it never feels like overwhelmingly strong. Although it has kind of negated laser drones. I think laser drones basically don't have a purpose now, because you might as well just play Banshee instead. But also no one likes laser drones, so I don't think anyone's really crying about it. No one's like, oh man, I wish laser drones were more viable. Everybody hates lasers. All my homies hate laser drones. I guess we'll make another mutant. We can do the same thing with... Oh, wow. I was gonna say we can do the same thing with Stealth Tank against Banshee as we can against Talon where you split shot. I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe the tank lived. If the tank doesn't live there, if I get one more shot with my mutant, I just win the missile in the game. Because then the tank doesn't clear the pad and the Chuggy fires the missile. So that was kind of sad. I'm really, by making a second mutant here, I'm relying very heavily on my stealth tank to kill air. Like, probably way too heavily. Cool. Alright, goodbye stealth tank. Alright, we managed to keep 2 missiles so we can kill another one if it shows up. Well, this isn't going very well. Ah, sad. Just very awkward having the one anti-infantry unit. Maybe I should have made some militants at some point to fight his militants. I don't know. Ire, you've played Rivals for quite a long time, right? Like, you've played Rivals for a fairly long time now. Have you noticed that when Shocks and Flames fight each other, the Shocks win by twice as much? Or have you noticed that they trade evenly? Like, it's pretty obvious that their damage is not half if you've ever seen them fight, right? Like, it's very clear that the Shock Trooper does not do twice the damage of the Flame. Otherwise, it would win the 1v1 every single time very easily. So, to say that the Flamer has half the damage, like, if you've never played the game before, I could see how you could think that. But if you've ever played Rivals, you would know that's just simply not true. Like, very clearly not true as well. Yeah, it's because the DPS is not different. The DPS is identical. That's why you're shocked, because it isn't. Like, it's just not accurate. Predator Shock is the actual worst matchup for this deck. This is the worst matchup in the game. So yeah, this is probably like an auto loss. This was a very bad matchup when Chuggy was great as well. Now Chuggy's not that good. This matchup is, I believe, unwinnable. Did you just kill the Predator already, my laser friend? What is wrong with you? Doesn't seem to have much air. So I guess we'll just make mutants and chuggies. Looks like we actually might get there. Feels amazing, man. Oh, Borker again. Once again, the Borker.
Enemy base destroyed. 3, 2, 1. New objective available.
A99. Alright, here we go.
Online. Unit ready.
This is a ratings disaster. Come join us.
Unit ready.
What's needed? Lasers. His will militia here. We'll hit what's needed. Laser squad. Destroy the GDI.
Unit ready.
Lasers move. Our laser militia. Brothers.
A99 will almost certainly be playing Flame Tank, which is a bad matchup.
Hit them with destroy them. No command. Militia. No stopping. What's needed?
Building online.
Laser squad. Let's go. Let's go.
Unit ready.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be Scorp Flamer. It's a very bad matchup.
Unit offline.
Actually, not as bad as Shock Pred though, which we did just beat. So who knows? Maybe we'll get there.
Laser. Fear the green. Stop. Taking position. Laser squad. Ready for anything. Ready to wait the garden.
Unit offline. Missile cancelled.
Laser will hit them.
Unit ready.
Probably should have made another Chuggy instead of another laser. Now I am going to lose the missile because of that play. Yep. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I should have won that missile for sure. Just threw it. For making that laser. If that laser was a Chuggy, I would have won the missile. This matchup, as you can, like, against a good player, this matchup is basically just, like, there's nothing you can do. They just rotate their tank through the flamer, and you can never push in. Random Banshee for no reason. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. It's just essentially a very bad matchup. You can't really kill the flamers quickly enough anymore either. At least before you could at least before the deck was powerful enough to kill the flamers quickly. Yeah, it's just a horrible matchup. This is why I've never liked Mutant Chuggy that much. This is one of the main reasons, because like a good tank flame player or shock pred player just crushes you super hard. Alright, well there's Mutant Chuggy. It was bad in the last pack. Well, it's always been fine. It's never been good in my opinion. I don't know why people hate Mutant Chuggy so much. It's always just been an average deck, and it's still an average deck. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time.